KBLA Talk 1580. Yep, that's the walk-on music for our guest. She is an activist and a journalist. Her latest piece is actually seen right now in Essence magazine. But she comes from our community here in Los Angeles and has been living and working and honing her craft here for many years. Nabou Ramu, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Ms. Dominique Baraka DiPrima.
Yeah, thank you for coming in. So congratulations on your piece.
Thank you so much.
And tell us about this walk-on music that we were hearing.
We were listening to some Alice Coltrane. I love Alice. She just brings me so much serenity and joy. The name of the song is called Turiya Ramakrishna.
Yeah, she was also a spiritual leader.
She is still a spiritual leader. Yeah. I mean, her music has guided me to my spirituality. They call her the priestess of sound.
Yeah.
And when you listen to her, it just raises your vibration naturally. And if you know anything about Alice, if you know anything about John Coltrane, her husband, you know that they infused a lot of spirit, or I guess they channeled spirit through sound. Just like everyone loves the song or the album "A Love Supreme," people think it's a romantic song, but they don't know that it's really a ode to God.
Yeah. Well, they don't necessarily have to be separated. 800-920-1580. We had some folks that were trying to weigh in, and I was not able to see you guys because we were having some technical difficulties. So try again. I will definitely get you on. Nabou, tell me about your article you wrote for Essence. It's out now, and you're a millennial, or are you Gen Z?
I'm technically Gen Z.
Okay, technically. So it's a Gen Z journalist. I always talk about getting more young voices on the show, something that I want to do. So I'm glad to have you in. And Nabou also helped us out a little while she was here, which is dope. So tell me about your article. Is this something you got assigned, or is it something you pitched?
They actually put out a call for pitches. They wanted to just do regular college protest stories because of what was happening at Howard, what was happening with the GU encampments at George Washington University, at UCLA, USC. It was a lot. And we were looking for youth voices, Gen Z college voices, to really just archive and preserve those moments from the perspective of maybe what's going on your campus or beyond. But it was about a month before Joe Biden came on campus, and I had the vision, okay, all these things are happening on these other university campuses, but Morehouse is just about to have Joe Biden come and speak at their commencement. Surely something's going to happen there. And so I just jumped on it. It was supposed to just be a regular op-ed piece, and it turned into a real investigation.
And that was, it sounds like that was really because of your vision of what you wanted to look into. And you really talked to a bunch of different students.
I did. I first just started DMing students on Instagram, trying to figure out what they thought about Biden coming to speak at their commencement. And then I started to actually drive up to Atlanta and just sit in some of their events. And they were having private discussions and private dinners to talk about if they want Biden to come, do we want to pressure Morehouse to disinvite him? If he does come, what are we going to do? And then what does this mean to me as a student? When I'm looking back 50 years from now, am I going to feel like I was complacent in this? Or am I pro Biden coming to speak? And now that we're giving him a platform, how can I curate the conversation so that it could benefit me?
Yeah. And what did you find surprising in those conversations?
What I found surprising was the lack of support around the students who were unapologetically progressive.
Right.
You know, they felt like they were alone in their cause for accountability.
Mm.
They felt like they weren't getting the support from their peers, or they also weren't getting the support from their administration. Now, Morehouse did support their students in different types of ways, but it was always according to the students, it was always through the lens of respectability politics. And that's what frustrated them, because this is supposed to be a college that promotes protesting. They even have a quote on campus in front of the chapel that talks about protesting. I'll read it right now. It says, "If you will protest courageously, and yet with dignity and Christian love, when the history books are written in future generations, the historians will have to pause and say, 'There lived a great people, a black people, who injected new meaning and dignity into the veins of civilization. This is our challenge and our overwhelming responsibility.'" And so what was surprising was you see like a lot of support for protests in theory because they've been gifted with the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. And so it's like, how can we maintain this legacy? How can we empower our students to make a difference without messing up our relationships with the White House, without messing up our relationships with corporations that can give our students jobs that may not fully agree with our whatever political conflicts are going on around the world. They were trying to play it safe in certain aspects, and that was what was surprising.
Yeah, well, we got some folks on the phone, so we'll go to you in a moment. 800-920-1580. I have been, even though I know we live in a country that is very militaristic and anti-black, and many times other oppressed groups, I've been actually surprised by the level of the response by colleges. Like the fact that they are, like Harvard, preventing people from even graduating, putting marks on their academic records, kicking people out, suspending them, targeting them so they cannot get jobs after they graduate. In other words, they're willing to, when you talk about targeting your graduates, you're willing to undermine your own results, because they like to say our graduates work at the following firms, right? But now you're willing to undermine that because you want to punish students for protesting. The fact that the strike that's going on right now in California around, unions standing up for the right to free speech on campuses, the fact that one of the things they have to call for is student amnesty just makes my head explode. Amnesty for exercising your free speech rights. How do you read it?
The way that I see it from the conversations that I've heard from different administrations, sometimes they felt like they might have to protect the brand of the school despite how it might hurt students. I will say that I did not witness Morehouse try to destroy their the students' future, but I will say that it's to create fear so that students won't have the courage to speak up in the future because they do want to get a job. Like, imagine being like a first generation college student. This is your only opportunity to really make a difference in your family, to get a good job, and to make it in this world, because that's what they teach us is the only thing that's important, right? But we don't also realize that sometimes, like, those sacrifices is what will make your future better if you can curate that lifestyle. I personally believe that, well, specifically at Morehouse, there was mixed messages, because I can only speak from the HBCU perspective of the talented 10th, right? We have students, we believe that there are going to be people who who are educated, who have courage, who will make a difference, right? And who will be able to lift up the rest of the community and to lead us towards collective liberation, right? Or collective progress. But it's like, as an institution, how can you also provide support for your students if you're burning bridges with the people who might also, like, if you're burning bridges with the people who will be bringing opportunities to your students? I feel like that's the position that Morehouse was in. Now, it's difficult. There was a man, Willie Woods, he was a board of trustee member, and he said, in his own words, what a firestorm that we're in. Like, it's the same situation that they feel like, of the lesser of two evils. Like, how can we support our students, these black kids with careers?
Yeah, so what's the conclusion? If Martin Luther King was going to Morehouse today, he would have been silenced. I said it, you didn't. Tim from LA, you have the mic. I mean, you know, if he was at Harvard, he wouldn't be graduating, right? He'd be punished for doing what they celebrate him for doing, which is the ultimate hypocrisy.
And so the students, I mean, the universities, they're scared. They don't know what side of history they want to be on.
Yeah,
because they're like, you know, it's possible that these students could be like the next Martin Luther King. What if in 50 years we look at the books and we were wrong, like with the Vietnam War?
Well, they are wrong. They need to crack a book, because you don't need to wait 50 years to recognize that by muzzling students, you're on the wrong side of history. Let's go to Tim from LA. Hi, Tim.
Yes, how you doing?
Good. Can you take us off speakerphone? That sounds like trash. And good morning to you, sir.
Okay, let me take it off.
Thank you.
Can you hear me better?
A little bit, yeah. What's up?
I just wanted your take on two comments about last week with the colored peoples in New York was starting to vote for Donald Trump. And it was a lot of blacks from New York. They hurting. His policies is trouble. Joe Biden, the guy can't even give a 5-second speech.
Wait, you're saying the people in New York were starting to vote for Trump, but the election's not till November? Or you're saying they're planning to vote for Trump?
No, what I'm saying, they planning to vote for Trump.
Okay. And you're basing that on what, Tim?
They was at his rally. You didn't know the rally that Donald Trump had last week?
I only saw fake pictures of that rally. They were sending around pictures of an Obama rally saying it was Trump, and they had AI pictures of him with black people. I haven't seen the real pictures. In fact, I was reaching out to some folks in the South Bronx to see if I could find out what actually happened. And
in the last take, I wanted to ask you about the immunity deal with the Supreme Court. The guy, Joe Biden, is a crooked president. He's the worst president we ever had. He don't put the country first. Blacks out here doing bad. Other people could come break the law, sleeping in a $100 room a night while veterans on the street sleeping. What's good about this guy?
I can tell you've been listening to Mark Carter, and sort of the MAGA talking points are flying out of your mouth, Tim. They're raining down on us, the MAGA talking points. Because that Joe Biden is the worst president ever. It's like pretty much straight out of the mouth of the Orange Menace. And it's also not true. I think the worst president is probably Trump. But it's definitely not Biden. I'm not a Biden stan. Like, I don't love everything he does, but how are you going to say the guy that, got us past the emergency phase of the pandemic, the guy that brought you your first black woman vice president, the guy that brought you your first black woman Supreme Court justice, the guy that passed the bipartisan infrastructure package, which is bolstering the green infrastructure. And I could go on and on. And I can go on and on things I don't like to, but I could go on and on. That can't possibly be the worst president. But we'll continue this conversation after news, traffic, and sports, whatever's next. I want to talk to you too, Nabou. I'm not leaving you out of this. I just don't, know if you want to jump in and talk to this, Tim, but we can do that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Hi, Tavis Smiley here. We're getting closer to June 18th, and time is running out for you to register to join us for our historic symposium live on C-SPAN, Tuesday, June 18th, 4 to 7 p.m. at the California Science Center in Exposition Park. Admission is free, but you must register at KBLA1580.com right now if you want to be in the audience when the nation will see for the first time ever a stage full of brilliant black folk talking about the urgency of now. Climate justice, climate equity, climate resilience. It's all going down. Well, it's actually all going up. Tuesday, June 18th, 4 to 7 p.m. live from the California Science Center in Exposition Park. Again, admission is free, but we're filling up fast. So if I were you, I would log on right now to KBLA1580.com to reserve your seat. Caring about the climate, caring about the community. We're KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste, so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelenos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chuchas opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chuchas Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Conversation continues with Dominique DiPrima and Nabou Ramu, who is an Afrocentric, she calls herself an Afrocentric journalist, which, she's Gen Z. She's still in college, reporting on college, which is ideal, right? Because you want to be able to, talk to folks that are in the space. And that is what we're able to do today. She is a journalist who covers arts, culture, business, and one of the places she writes for, aside from the piece she has in Essence right now, is the Griot. So we're talking with Tim, who is saying Biden is the worst president ever. Black people are voting for Trump. Immigrants are bringing us down. These are standard MAGA talking points. But hi, Tim. Nabou had a question for you.
Hi, Tim. You said Biden is the worst president ever. Tell us why. With facts.
Blacks been voting Democrats for 50 years. Ain't nothing changed. I'm a Republican. I've been a Republican for 20 years. The only thing this cricket thug guy did was put a lady in the presidency. She ain't even black. Kamala Harris, they barely even let her speak.
See, that's a talking point right there. First, you say she's not black, which she is, and then you say they don't let her speak. If she's not black, why do you care if she doesn't speak? Go ahead.
Democrats could go on is abortion. That's it. Nothing else. The policies that this guy got is keeping blacks down. That's why all the blacks in Chicago and New York, they organize it, not no fake picture, and we all starting to vote for Donald Trump. This guy is a cricket senator. He had classified information. He wasn't even a president. The only how they think they could beat Trump is tie him up in court.
Have you seen the videotape of Trump saying that Biden beat Obama?
Biden beat Obama?
Who has got dementia now?
Joe Biden can't even give a 5-second speech without tumbling over.
Did you miss the State of the Union? Because that was way longer than 5 seconds, FYI.
But Tim, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What is the future that you imagine for black people? What is your imagined future?
I'm going to tell you. What I like about Donald Trump, he picked country first.
No, I didn't ask you what you liked about Donald Trump. I asked you, what is your imagined future for black people?
Blacks could get out and prosper. They could do whatever they want, own business and all that. And if you vote Republican, if your listeners vote Republican,
I didn't ask you about who we're going to vote for. I asked you, how do you imagine black people living in this country and what does that leadership look like? Not a political party. We're not talking about the feather on the birds. I'm asking you, you said you're talking about the conditions that black people are in right now, and you are unhappy with the leadership, and you feel like the leadership is the reason why we're in this position. And if we change leadership, then the things will change in our community. What does this community look like that you are speaking? Yes, let me know.
This is a third world country with this guy, Joe Biden policies. It hurt blacks. We don't get nothing.
So you can't answer the question about what this lifestyle looks like.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't. So this is the question.
But I know with Donald
so
Trump,
when the answer could have been like, oh, maybe I want to see more black people owning businesses. In turn, I want to see more black people educated at universities. I want to see more money funded into HBCUs. Or I want to see, I imagine a future where I don't have to worry about who's in office because I know that I trust my government and I will be able to pay taxes, and I want my taxes to come back to my community, and I want more money in my schools. That's what I mean by an imagined future. Not about Republican, Democrat. I don't care about none of that. We're talking about the people. So how do you see the people operating? What do you want to see from the people, and what do you want to see from yourself?
to have their own mind, think for themselves, and just because some old president who's a criminal go speak at a church once every 4 years and think.
But they both old, aren't they? They the same age, and then they both like got criminal trials. So like, what's the difference?
Actually,
honestly?
no, only one has a criminal trial. You're
Excuse
talking
me.
if you want to talk about Hunter Biden and his legal troubles. Yes, he does have those. Those are not Joe Biden. If I give birth to a crackhead and that crackhead goes to trial, yes, it's still my baby, but it's not my trial. To be clear.
I see someone in my comments talking about less liquor stores in our neighborhoods. No fast food. Maybe we want more farm to table. Options.
Just
like
FYI, there are far fewer than there were in LA because of Karen Bass. It can be done. I will also add that the Biden-Harris administration has spent $16 billion on HBCUs. That's more than ever in the history. I know Trump tries to take credit for the money that Obama put on the table, but right here, $16 billion. So just FYI, the talking points often do not match the reality. And some people don't care about that. Tim want to believe what Tim wants to believe. Kamala Harris is black. She's raised in Oakland. She is East Indian and black, but that's still black, baby boy. We got news, traffic, and sports, and the convo continues on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The United Nations Security Council is set to meet today following a deadly Israeli military strike in the southern Gazan city of Rafah. The weekend strike hit a camp housing those displaced due to the fighting in the region. Reports are that more than 40 people were killed. Israeli officials say the target was a Hamas compound and that 2 of the militant group's senior officials were killed. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has denied a request by the state of Alabama to allow utility companies to continue storing toxic coal ash in pits across the state. The EPA said Alabama's plan to store more coal ash poses serious health concerns to citizens and the environment. Of particular concern are low-income and underserved communities in the Alabama Black Belt region. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Need money for the holidays? Avoid the yikes before Christmas. Hurry into Jackson Hewitt for a holiday loan on your tax refund, up to $1,000. Early refund advance offered to eligible clients. Application required. Finance charge applies. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Congratulations to the Grambling State University baseball team. They won the SWAC tournament to qualify for the NCAA Division I tournament. Grambling has a first-round matchup Friday against Texas A&M in the College Station Regional. Grambling is the only HBCU school in the NCAA baseball tournament. The Tigers are looking for their first NCAA baseball tournament win. Despite a health scare Sunday on a flight from Miami to L.A., Mike Tyson is still planning to fight Jake Paul on July 20th in Arlington, Texas. The 57-year-old Tyson needed medical attention at LAX after having symptoms of nausea and dizziness on the flight. Tyson is gearing up for his first fight since 2005. The Boston Celtics are in the NBA Finals for the second time in 3 years. They swept Indiana in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics await the winner of the Dallas-Minnesota series in the Western Conference. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
You give and you give. It's time to get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included with the activation of a Silver Unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah!
Switch to Straight Talk. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Requires in-store activation. Device offer ends 6/9/24. Taxes and fees apply.
The news on vapes talks a lot about the technology and teen use. But parents need to know more about the dangers of nicotine. So know this. 1. Nicotine is a poison that can rewire teens' brains. 2. It can increase mood swings. 3. It can limit attention and learning. So even when it comes in new tech, nicotine is brain poison. Go to undo.org for more.
Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Sky Rizzy, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Sky Rizzy is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Sky Rizzy, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Sky Rizzy, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizzy.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZY to learn more.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm up. Really, I am. Nabou Ramu is with me. She is an Afrocentric journalist hailing from Los Angeles, currently a student. You got 1 more year to go, right?
Inshallah.
And then I want to give some love out to the great and amazing Dr. Mabel John, who I miss all the time. She was a bit of a mentor to me and was of service to the community. And we met through Dr. Mabel John, actually.
We did. My freshman year of college, before I went to journalism school, she was like, "You want to be a journalist?" I was interning at the Jackson Advocate, which was the biggest and oldest Black-owned newspaper in Mississippi. And she was like, "Oh, you need to meet my girl, Dominique DiPrima. She's going to be at my volunteer event." And that's when my auntie Daryl came and brought me down there and introduced me to
Yeah,
her.
and giving love out to your auntie Daryl as well. She made her transition last week.
She did.
I'm sorry for your loss.
So shout out to Daryl Jackson and Andrew Jackson, my godparents here in Los Angeles, who introduced me to KBLA. Whoop, whoop. And also shout out to my father, who also has transitioned, Wayne Clark, Nabou Ramu. You know, shout out, we give praise and honor to our ancestors, like she said, Dr. Mabel John, who was a rock and roll Hall of Famer, and she was a Raylette for Ray Charles. Very humble woman, and she could sing, you know. And I just give all my love to the ancestors and elders of Leimert Park, of South Central, and of Inglewood, and down to Watts, all the way to Mississippi, to Tennessee.
There we go. We got folks on the phone, so I guess we'll head there. I do want to talk about the closing arguments. Today is a full day extravaganza. Closing arguments in the Trump New York trial, the hush money, porn star campaign finance charges, 34 felonies. And we could see a decision from the jury as early as this week. Like by Friday, we could see the conviction of the first ever conviction of a former U.S. president in a court of law for felony charges. And we could also see his acquittal. We could see some of the charges stick and some go away. It's kind of a big deal. Okay, let's go to Anthony calling us from somewhere. Hi, Anthony.
Good. How you doing?
My screens went blank
North
again, so I
Carolina.
can't see who's there and what they're calling about. But hi, Anthony. Oh, North
Hey,
Carolina. Okay, North Carolina. Okay, Anthony.
Yeah, I'm in North Carolina, and I'm a truck driver. Well, I'm on trucking and business, so I ride around a lot to the radio, and the radio down here is terrible as far as finding, Black information radios. So I scanned the internet, and I found your station. I think I typed in black media or black radio station in America, something like that. But yours came up, and I've been listening to your station for about 3 weeks now, and you're pretty good. I mean, even though
Thank you.
even though you are a Democrat, whenever somebody says something that you kind of know Joe Biden did the same thing, you will at least say that. A lot of stations will tell one side of the story, and that's it.
Well, I'm fact-based, and I'm independent-minded, so that means I don't always go along with a party line.
I got you.
Right?
Your last caller,
Tim.
Tim. I don't agree with so far as being a Republican because I'm an independent. I feel like Black people this election really, really, really need to sit it out to show our power. I'm a black man. I just turned 50 in North Carolina. I'm not religious. I don't have no criminal, whatever though. But my reasons for why I cannot vote for Joe Biden, I vote for West or nobody.
So you're possibly a Cornel West voter.
Oh, all the way. Only way I won't vote for him is if his name is not on the ballot. And they're doing things now like the Kennedy guy dropping down. Bernie Sanders was Cornel West's friend, and Cornel West helped Bernie Sanders. And now he's going to drop down just to be an independent. All that is just really to flush out West. Kennedy or the old guy that I just named, not fooling nobody. Okay, but for me, I can't vote for Biden because just me, the abortion stuff, I'm nowhere near with that as far as my black people. Nowhere near.
So you don't think we should have the? I mean, I'm not saying you personally would want it, but you don't think we should have the right, even if we'll die or we've been raped or.
Yeah.
I mean, because right now,
a woman is so far gone in her pregnancy and she's about to die. That's not really abortion. That's doctor saving her life. You know what I'm saying? And that happened. But that's like 1 in what? 400,000.
I mean, but it's actually been happening quite a bit since this law passed. But anyway, I'm probably not going to change your mind. But so you're.
Right here.
I mean, it's a right we had for 50 years, which Trump's Supreme Court took away, and you're happy about that.
Let me say this right here. They invented a Plan B pill. Anybody who has sex, whether they have sex willingly, unwillingly, raped, or whatever, they can go to the doctor within a week or whatever the time limit and take that pill to get rid of that pregnancy. The only reason that the Democrats are pushing the abortion is because, like they got caught years ago, they need the body parts. They need the pregnancy to go on longer and longer so they can get the body parts from that embryo baby. That's the only reason that they want.
I'm not gonna dispute the fact that there is an illegal trade in human body parts, but I think that perspective just it's really limited. In for example, the former president just said he was ready to look at limiting contraception. In Louisiana, they've already made the abortion pill a controlled substance, like a heroin or some oxycodone, which means you could go to jail for just having those pills. But I don't want to argue with you about that. What is it that you like about West?
That's down the road because right now there is a Plan B pill, and women don't have to go 3 or 4 months having a baby so they can get the embryo part. They got caught. On tape.
A lot of times women don't know they're pregnant. You know, you might have used birth control and come up pregnant. That happens all the time. So why would you be taking a Plan B when you thought you had Plan A? I'm just saying. But what is it that you like about Cornel West?
Truth and justice. And the other two don't stand for truth and justice, especially whenever they had the debate going on. All the other Democratic candidates had something positive or what they had planned to do for black people, except for Biden. So he's not a liar. He ain't promised us nothing during the.
Well, he promised us a Supreme Court justice, and he delivered that. He promised us. He didn't promise a vice president, but he delivered that. He didn't promise $16+ billion for HBCUs, but he delivered that.
Because somebody put in a black person, come on, I mean, we're getting too old for this now. First of all, she married to a white man, so the sister. Okay, so I ain't saying like the racial part of it though, but so if I got an organization with 10 white people all over, and I go say, okay, well, I want to get this one black person to get in there, even though one vote ain't gonna overturn nothing. You fall for that kind of trickery stuff?
No, I don't fall for that kind of trickery. I don't find it trickery. You can only put in Supreme Court justices one at a time. You get Ketanji Brown Jackson, who's not just a black woman, but highly qualified for the job. And it's important to have her arguments and her intellect in that body. But anyway, I appreciate the call. And I hope, Anthony, I'm glad you found us in a Google search. And I hope you understand there are only 5 black-owned talk radio stations in the whole country. We are one of them. So we thank you for your support. It's really important. Hopefully you've listened to Tavis and DL and Ariva and Nee we got some great, and Zoe, we got some great hosts on this station talking around the clock.
Both sides of the truth and justice, I don't listen to you for long. I would listen to you and give you a shot, give you a chance. But when I see that you're trying to converse one side of a story and not tell the whole truth, who don't want the truth?
The truth is always more nuanced than what we like to say. We like it to be just, black or white, and there's way more than 50 shades of gray.
No, the truth has to be discussed and debated sometimes.
Absolutely.
What is the truth that you want to discuss? This is Nabou speaking in real quick. I just want to know.
Say again, I didn't hear you.
What is the truth that you want to discuss? What is the truth that you feel like we aren't seeing as a people, that we aren't being honest with ourselves about, from in your perspective?
Supporting Biden right now, I don't see how you could do that. You can complain about Trump being a racist, all that stuff, all you want to, but right now, as a people, we need to step out of the Biden Republican Democrat thing to show our power.
But why? I need a why. I want less reactionary responses, and I need more facts, or solutions. As an elder, the youth are looking to you guys. You guys have all these opinions of Biden, Trump, and honestly, we're looking at everything why do you feel like we shouldn't be voting for who? Give us the real, and that's why I keep going back to that same question. What future do you imagine for your community? And then that, we have to have some type of vision, how we want to see our community operating in. And then it's what are the steps to get there? So let's start with the vision first. What are you... When Martin Luther King said, "I have a dream," he was talking about manifestation. What futures are we manifesting for our future generations? And who was going to get us there? That's what should be our conversation, right? So answer that question for me.
Don't forget, Martin Luther King also said, "I believe I led my people to a burning house." And us with this Democratic stuff, that's exactly what he's talking about.
Okay, but I think Nabou has a fair question. You said we should hold on one sec. Just let me finish articulating. We should show our power by sitting this one out or voting for West. And what are we going to do with that power? What's the desired result?
When you have demands for your government, when you have the power of your voting card, just like any other race has, they listen to you then.
What are your demands?
Excuse me?
What are your demands?
One of them could be reparations.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the students of Morehouse, let me cut you off real quick. Let me jump in real quick. So I just did this story about Morehouse and Joe Biden coming to speak at their commencement, right? It is my understanding that part of the plan of Biden coming there, the Morehouse students were able to say, hey, you're coming to our school. We're going to set the standard on what you're going to talk about. Even though it was not respected in the end, this is what the Morehouse students did. They had a roundtable discussion with the White House and said, here, this is what we're talking about. And the main thing on that discussion was reparations. They told the White House, we want you to talk about reparations on behalf of Black people at our HBCU. It still didn't happen. But the conversation of reparations is an active conversation. And anytime we get in front of the White House, the youth for sure is bringing up the conversation. Now, with the conversation about reparations, how are we even going to get there?
Well, we're getting there.
We're
getting
getting there.
Work. That's how we're getting there.
But that's what the conversation needs to be about. We need actionable plans. One thing that we all play a moving part in this. In my personal life, in my role of reparations is archiving and preserving history, so we can even have documents of where we're coming from. So it's go ahead, Anthony.
I'm glad you're a Cornell West voter, not a Trump voter, because I don't understand the logic of a lot of the Black Trump voters who are also reparationists, because so far the Republican Party has not done anything but block reparations. As we saw them try to do in Tennessee, as they try to do in Texas. And so at least there's logic. If the position is reparations, which I think is an excellent demand, then it makes more sense to be a West voter than a Trump voter. I I appreciate the conversation, Anthony. I hope you'll call me again. Will you?
Biden. Trump might be, he might have a third grade education, but you can go further. At least he will communicate with you.
Okay. Well, we'll agree to disagree on that, but I'm not, I think your logic in saying, well, if I'm going to sit it out, I'm going to go with Dr. West. It makes more sense. 800-920-1580 is KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
A word from Original Taco Pete, where Tuesdays are all about $2 tasty black tacos. Join us today and every day at 3272 West Slauson Ave off Crenshaw, or order through Grubhub, Uber Eats, or OriginalTacoPete.com.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
Indeed, it does. We got a lot of folks on the phones, which is great. We have time to talk to you this hour next, when I'll be joined by Cassie Betts. But let's go to John calling us from Carolina. I can't tell. Is it North Carolina? I didn't have my glass. Yeah, North Carolina. Okay. Why is the type so little today? Hi, John. My eyes getting worse.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. What's on your mind?
So I just want to thank you for taking my call. And so just as far as taking on today's topic, one of the things I had a recent conversation about with a friend was I kind of feel like some of my frustration with everything that's going on even now, like if we remember not too long ago when Kyrie had his whole issue, you had, the Hebrew Israelites kind of come out and show force. I mean, we historically have had the Nation of Islam come out and show force. One of the major powers that we had as far as just being a collective was the Black church. And now we have, these multi-mega churches. And I just feel like at this point in time, it's like everybody's silent. And I feel like there is some, especially as I'm a millennial, but these are people that I looked up to who came under the tutelage of Dr. King's and Medgar Evers and, people who have fought. And so it's like now when we're such a critical time, the last large show of force was the BLM movement, and I don't see any churches, I don't see any moms, I don't see a show of force of people who look like me who have historically shown up before in the past.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always going to ebb and flow in terms of seeing people in the streets. BLM is, I was talking at the beginning of the show, they've just gone from 35 to 42 chapters. So there's still people on the ground doing the work. The question is, where's the mass movement, I think? What are your thoughts, Nabou?
think that there are people out there out on the streets. I mean, and we're gonna see it in from different identities. I see mosque people from the masjid out on the streets, but also it's like I keep going back to the vision. Like someone had just mentioned we have to be a little bit more responsible for ourselves and how we're impacting each other's, but also how we're operating, being the man in the mirror, and being that individual that shows up in this world, that people can look to like, yeah, this brother, he's a stand-up dude. He's high ethical. There's Huma House right down the street in Lamert who literally has a nonprofit organization.
He's in North Carolina, and we have people listening all over. But
that's true. But there's
examples. But that's an example, a local example that is probably in many different cities, right?
Yes, there. You got to just look for the smaller organizations who might not have the funding or the PR team to be in the news, but they're out there.
John, let me ask you a question. What do you think about the mass movement right now on the college campuses?
Say again. I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Well, you were talking about people protesting, and I'm thinking about the college campuses and people in solidarity with Palestine.
So I think it's interesting once again where you see these students, right? Because I'm here in North Carolina, so you at Chapel Hill isn't too far from where I stay, and to see the demographics that actually are coming up to show out and in support, I think is very powerful. Once again, obviously it's a tragedy that the very tools that were used by the people who are currently in, government and so on and so forth, back when they were in the 60s when they were protesting, are now, using fear to prevent us from using the same tools to kind of affect our country and push policy.
Yeah, it's terrifying to me. I mean, 13 Harvard students won't graduate because Harvard has decided that the punishment for protesting against the war is you don't get a degree that you paid for, studied, and earned.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's very fearful. I've been fearful for my daughter, and I don't know what kind of world she's going to live in and what's going to be normalized as far as what we fought for rights that she's not even going to know even existed as a right for her. It's just like, this is what it is going forth, and that frightens me.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What
were you about to say?
No. I didn't want to go off on a tangent. That's I just wanted to say.
Well, I was just going to remind you, because as parents, that we also have to remember at the same time we're seeing these terrible, very bad moves towards fascism and the repression and the taking of our rights. We also see a raising of consciousness, right? Mm-hmm. We see people more having a better understanding of world politics. So it's like this bipolar time when we're making all kinds of strides, but we're also seeing this incredible backlash, white lash.
And I also, this is Nabou, I just want to jump in. I just want to challenge you and all of our people in our community, instead of looking to the church or for a new Malcolm X or a new MLK or Medgar Evers, try to be the man in the mirror and show up and be the change that you want to see in your community.
Yeah, for me, when I feel discouraged, I look locally because there's so many leaders locally doing great things. And you look at Gen Z, your generation, Nabou, you guys are hella smart. You guys read, you guys pay attention. And from my experience as the mother of a Gen Z, you guys are not ready to wait. You want justice now. And
we also listen to our elders. We really sit with our elders and we take from what y'all have done in the books that y'all have read, and you dropped a book on us earlier, the Negrophobia, and I took notes on that, and we pay attention, and we'll take that with our own personal experience and move forward.
John, should we give you want a last word here?
No, I just think that I think that what you're doing is really powerful. And even with all that said, of course, we have to definitely hold ourselves accountable. And with us being in an information age and learning things about how connected we are and so on and so forth, there is that duality of even though I'm holding myself accountable and being the leader or being the savior that I need, right, saving myself, and us there's also, of course, the propaganda and the actual show of force in Black death and normalizing Black death and going outside. I wanted to go out this Memorial Day weekend, but I knew I didn't because a traffic stop could turn into my last breath, right?
Well, I wish you community, and I wish you the best, and I thank you for being with us. Nabou, thank you for joining today. We are up against the news, traffic, and sports. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to shout out my daughter. It's her 5th birthday.
Happy birthday, Nabou's daughter. All right, we got news, traffic, and sports, and then Cassie Betts joins us. We're taking your phone calls. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The United Nations Security Council is set to meet today following a deadly Israeli military strike in the southern Gazan city of Rafah. The weekend strike hit a camp housing those displaced due to the fighting in the region. Reports are that more than 40 people were killed. Israeli officials say the target was a Hamas compound and that 2 of the militant group's senior officials were killed. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has denied a request by the state of Alabama to allow utility companies to continue storing toxic coal ash in pits across the state. The EPA said Alabama's plan to store more coal ash poses serious health concerns to citizens and the environment. Of particular concern are low-income and underserved communities in the Alabama Black Belt region. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Need money for the holidays? Avoid the yikes before Christmas. Hurry into Jackson Hewitt for a holiday loan on your tax refund, up to $1,000. Early refund advance offered to eligible clients. Application required. Finance charge applies. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.